Welcome. You join me riding solo today. I'm in Pennsylvania, where it's been raining and the forecast is for cloudy and overcast conditions. As it's autumn, then what better place to explore for fall colours than Ricketts Glen State Park? I hope you enjoyed that drive. I did. Very pretty driving through Pennsylvania. There are 21 waterfalls in a loop, but time constraints combined with the fact I'm recovering from an ankle injury suggests I'll make it to 4, maybe 5 waterfalls today. So off we go. Mrs Faceless and I are off on a longer trip shortly, so today also marks the opportunity to give a good test to a newish camera we have, the Fuji X-S20. The trail is nice and easy to begin with, but does become steeper, and there are many sections with stone steps which can become a little slick in bad weather. As you can see, the leaves on the ground show a lot of promise with yellows, golds and reds, albeit the forecast total cloud cover has not yet materialised. First stop is the 37-foot drop Mohawk Falls. There's plenty of colour, water and, unfortunately, sunlight. So I'm not going to spend much time here because of how harsh the light is. You can see here, as the sun breaks through the clouds, the waterfall is completely blown out, whilst land underneath also gets really bright. The flip side is that the golden light from the sun really accentuates the autumnal colours, as you can see more clearly in the comparison. Same clip of video with identical processing. Top left is the sun behind the clouds, bottom right is the sun shining through. Anyway, here's the photo. short distance further along was this foam swirl, a good opportunity to test out the Fuji. I think it would have been nice if the foam was a little bit more broken up, so we'll chalk that up to a good try, but move along. Cayuga Falls may only be an 11-foot drop, but there are multiple steps and paths the water can take, making this an interesting waterfall to photograph. Unfortunately, the footpath runs quite close to the left side of the falls, and there were a good number of hikers and dog walkers now out and about, which limited the filming opportunity. I also find that standing there with the camera on a tripod does tend to encourage people to take a look at what you are doing. So I try to be as low-key as possible, which helps, although it is even worse with a video camera. As I looked upstream, I could also see more photographers working their way towards me. I still managed to get a couple of shots though, but of note here, the colours are all in the leaves on the ground and the moss on the rocks and trees. The foliage directly behind the falls is not turning to autumnal reds and yellows like other locations in the park. So to get the best colours, I simply excluded the foliage from the composition. There is definitely something calming about being out in nature. The fresh air, the sound of running water. Just watch out for slippery rocks and tree roots on the path and you should be fine. Oh, and drops off the edge. Yeah, definitely big drops off the edge. The steeper sections generally have well-maintained stone staircases, but there are parts where they have been washed out or worn by the volume of foot traffic. This is a particularly steep part as, from the drop you saw previously, we are reaching Ganoga Falls, an impressive 94-foot drop. So there's nothing wrong with stopping to take in the view, obviously. Arriving at the base of Ganoga Falls, there were already several other photographers actively shooting, so I stopped for a quick drink and surveyed the scene. To me, there are several issues to bear in mind here. The light at the top of the waterfall was, once again, quite harsh, so it would be ideal to minimise the gap at the top. The light was also really bright on the water hitting the wall in the bottom third. The branches from the trees on the left, I didn't want those encroaching into the shot. I know sometimes there is no choice and you simply have to embrace the chaos, but why if you can remove them? So I figured, rather than shooting straight on, positioning myself to the right in the stream would close the gap at the top and make the branches a non-issue. Then a circular polarizer and maybe even bracketed shots would fix the dynamic range. So it was time to venture out into the stream and compose my shot. I had waterproof boots on, so what's the problem? Well, number one, my boots used to be waterproof. Well, feet are wet already, so I better get the shot. As I mentioned before, setting up with tripod and a video camera is like a magnet, and soon the other photographers left their positions and joined me. Oh, what it is to be popular, right? Anyway, after getting a few shots and shooting some video, the crowds descended, so it was once more time to move on to the sound of parents telling their kids to get out of the water. Delaware Falls is a series of drops totalling around 37 feet, once again, as you can see, with the footpath running along the edge of the falls. Must be time for a snack. Just an apple and some jerky for now. There's a lot of colour here as well as a lot of people, so time to relax, have a wander around and figure out a composition, and hope for a break in the steady stream of people. This may be my favourite. With all of the different streams and rivulets of water, I really like this one. I mentioned embracing the chaos earlier, and there's quite a lot of deadfall in the scene, so let's just go with embracing it. The next stop is the 39-foot drop Mohican Falls, although as you can see here, there's now a steady stream of people, not to mention some lovely dogs hiking the loop. That means some more jerky whilst I'm waiting. The promised cloud cover has arrived, but that has brought rain, so whilst I'm waiting, no sense in letting the water hit the camera and lens front, so just having a clean microfiber towel should keep the lens droplet free until there's a break and I can get my shot. At this point, a circular polarizer is a must. Heading back to the car, the last stop is Oneida Falls, which I skipped on the way down as it was so busy. Once again, the foliage is not fully autumnal in the background, so the composition is going to take some work. I'd have liked to get a little further to the right too, but the water was deeper than it first looked, and after the rain, the rocks were also quite slippery. My ankle had held up to this point, so I decided not to push my luck. I fully enjoyed my 4 or 5 hours at Ricketts Glen. I will definitely be back to shoot here again. Despite not being here, Mrs Faceless also liked how the images turned out. I'm not sure if that's a pat on my back or one for the Fuji. Anyway, it performed admirably. I hope you also liked the images. Let us know which was your favourite in the comments, and a like and a subscribe would also be much appreciated. Thanks for watching. Until next time.